Oh, hey friends, hey friends. It is your girl Daenesha, and I got a quick word for somebody. Y'all listen. God wants me to share my marriage testimony about just how fast I got married, okay? So back in May of 2020, God gave me the marriage word, okay? Now, this whole time he gave me the marriage word, he gave me the story about Isaac and Rebecca. At the time, I was living with, now who's my husband, okay? But he wasn't my husband then. We were living together, okay? But it did not feel like we were getting married. It looked like we were going in the opposite direction. We had all types of oppression, depression. Listen, our old selves were dying during this time. We were fighting, we were arguing. It was looking very dysfunctional during the time. We were breaking up, separating, getting back together. It was just a lot of chaos that we were going through. But God gave me this promise. But when he gave me this promise, he didn't tell me who my kingdom spouse was. So me being in my flesh and living carnal, I started to look for my husband. Okay, I thought my husband was supposed to be a pastor, a bishop, a deacon, somebody on the choir. I just thought that he had to be in his church type of man. Okay, and that caused me, okay, to delay some things, but that also allowed God to prune and show me who he truly is. Okay, because I had it all wrong. Okay, now fast forward, God moved me and my husband to Texas back in 2020 as well. 2021, I believe, God moved us to Texas. And I remember this is where I started to grow closer with God. And I started to ask God, guys, send me a confirmation, Lord. Let me know who my husband is. If my husband, if this is the person who you want me to marry, I need a clear sign. Well, one day, I was supposed to go, me and my husband was supposed to go for a walk, okay? But my husband was like, he didn't want to go without him or whatever. So I was like, cool. So I went for a walk and I'm talking to God and I'm like, God, send me a clear sign. Well, God goes, well, turn around. When I turned around, y'all, I see my husband. He was right behind me, y'all. So I looked at him and I started smiling and I ran towards him. I'm like, what you doing out here? He was like, oh, I couldn't let you walk alone, yada, yada, yada. So we did this walk. God answered my prayer. Now, by the time we got back in the house, all hell started falling loose. I'm like, what? God, how can you give me a promise and it does not feel promising? God, it seems so far-fetched. This does not feel good at all. Like, where are the butterflies, God? It just feels like we hate each other. But God had to show us exactly who he is. And he had to clean us up inside, okay? He had to do a work within us, okay? Our old self had to die. But we didn't understand none of that. I didn't understand none of that. I just seen it as, this can't be from God because it don't feel good. It don't look good. It's giving all types of red flags, okay? Now, fast forward, I conceived my son in Texas. I moved back to Virginia. Me and my husband moved back to Virginia, okay? When we moved back to Virginia, we're not in the same households. We're separated, okay? I'm living at my mom's house. He's staying at a friend's house. It was given very much, listen, baby, this ain't gonna work, okay? We about to just be co-parenting, okay? And then one day, my husband was like, I'm gonna apply for apartments or whatever because my name was messed up, child. Credit was shut down, okay? And during that time, my husband had better credit than me, but I was the head of the household financially. So a part of me was doubting, like, how was this even gonna happen? But then I remember one day we stayed in a hotel and my husband put his hand on a paper, child, on an application, and we prayed together over this application. Now, did we get approved? No, but his faith, baby, that thing set it off because the next time he applied to a place, baby, we got approved. So God put us in a nice apartment, me, my husband, my daughter, and my son, okay? Now, this is back in 2023 of July, and God moves us into this apartment. By January, things start to really turn around in our relationship. We're growing closer, we're starting to rekindle. We're not fighting as much. We're not arguing as much. Like, things are slowly but surely moving along. So 12/23/07 is when my husband and I first met. We're high school sweethearts. So we've been together now for 17. We've been in a relationship for 17 years, but we've been married for 8 months, okay? Stick with me. So on 12/23/07, I just knew that my husband was going to propose to me, okay? We went to Great Wolf. It was a family day. The time, everything was perfect. But did my husband propose? Absolutely not. I was brokenhearted. So I went home and I was fussing, like, where's my ring? Why we not married? We got into this big argument. My husband it was a spirit behind him because it wasn't my husband. The spirit was telling me that we should just leave, break up. This is not going to work. So I packed up everything and I was about to move to New York because I was like, listen, baby, enough is enough. I got to go. And then while we were arguing, I heard the Lord say to me, be quiet. And I let this spirit talk crazy to me. And the next thing I knew, I heard the Lord so loud and clear. He said, what I put together, let no man separate. And it's like I heard a door close loud. So I was like, okay. The very next morning, I got up and I repented for both of us. I started to pray. Y'all, that same day, my husband came home and proposed to me. He proposed to me in February. By March, we had already had our marriage certificate. Y'all, by May, we had our marriage ceremony. It was like this year things was just popping off. So it was like an Amos 9:13 through 15. Like I couldn't believe the way how things was moving so swiftly in our lives. Okay, now here's the thing. The other day, God had me watching the movie Frozen, the first Frozen, when Anna meet Kristoff. Some of y'all may need to go look at that movie. Now, everybody kept saying to me, these are people on the outside who was minding my business. And of course, because I was still earthly and carnal, I was allowing them to be in my business and dictate my life. I digress, but I had to go through it. I had to learn it. People kept saying, you can't marry him. How you gonna marry a person like that who can't leave, who's still in the streets, who's still hustle and bustle? He got this wrong with him. This is wrong with him. No, you need somebody like this. They was putting all of their fears and projections on me. Now, that's the same thing that happened to Anna. When Anna first, this is gonna be for somebody. When Anna first met Kristoff and Kristoff met Anna, listen, baby, they got engaged the very same day. And people around them was like, you can't marry somebody like that. That's how suddenly God is about to move in your life when it comes to your wife, when it comes to your husband. Child of God, listen to me. It doesn't matter what people say. It matters what God say. It's about this kingdom assignment. It's about your kingdom marriage. It's about his glory, okay? Don't let people put their mouths on you. Don't let people dictate and tell you what they feel is best for you, okay? Because I did not have the ideal marriage. Listen, I turned my life around to Christ, and my husband is basically a prodigal, okay? He was still in the streets. He didn't know nothing about God, okay? His faith barely had any relationship, barely had anything. He just knew of God, okay? But he didn't follow him, nothing. No principles, nothing, okay? I'm saying all of that to say the things that seem impossible to the world, okay, that's the new thing that God is doing. Isaiah 43:19. Some of y'all are about to just get married so fast. This person, and that's okay, let me backtrack just a little bit. So, my husband proposed to me in February, okay? He proposed to me in February, okay? In March, I wanted to have my wedding in September. So I was planning a wedding for September, okay? My husband woke up one day, he's like, baby, I can't wait. Like, we just got to get married right now. And I'm like, what? He's like, let's just go to the courthouse. Let's just go get married. Let's get married. He was like, let's just go get married. And I was like, all right, cool, boom. Like, you my dude, I'm your wife. It is what it is. We got married up at that courthouse, baby. Real fast, 1, 2, 3. Y'all, we was married less than 7 minutes. I promise y'all. And it was cheap. It was for the low. But that was not my ideal wedding. But I knew that the sense of urgency was God was performing something new. And I needed to be obedient and come into alignment for whatever it is that my husband and the Lord was working on. Okay, I knew the Lord was working on him. And I'm like, okay, baby, you mine's forever. It don't matter. I'll marry. And we got married, y'all, in Tommy Hilfiger sweatsuits. Okay, and then in May, we had a nice little intimate private wedding. Now, this brings me to the story about Tiana and the frog. Some of y'all may have been seeing that. Listen, they had 2 marriages, and there were so many principalities that was trying to stop them from getting married. Okay, everything was trying to stop them. The shadow man, okay, and there was a lot of jealous people. There was a lot of wickedness, and then on top of that, Tiana was the one that was more strongly mature in the marriage, in the relationship. She was showing him things. She had to lead him back to Christ. She had to lead him. And then at one point, once she showed him how to lead and what it was to be a man of God, what it was to be a man, a leader, once she showed him, baby, he multiplied that thing. He started to serve her. The roles had switched. That's for somebody. Now, I pray that this help you. You get ready for your swiftly. You get ready for your suddenly. I love y'all. Until the next video, and congratulations.